everybody. Hello. This is Brad Talton. Can you guys see me okay? Is everything coming through okay? Is my microphone loud enough? If you can see me, just type in the comments, and I've got like full commenting here. Okay, cool. So if everything's coming through okay and you can hear me all right, I'm going to clear a little bit of space on my desk over here, which is kind of messy, and silence my phone, which rings at the worst times. And all right, let's see here. Get things ready to go for this preview. All right, cool. Okay, and if I do this, everyone can see my desk pretty well, right? Yeah. Okay, great, cool. So this is Imperial Spells and Steam. Yeah, it's pretty ginormous. The box is a full 12-inch, so full 11.75 long and about, let's see here, what's that? About 8 inches tall. So pretty massive box. So this is also the storage solution. So the base box is the storage solution to the game. So everything here, so the base game, the expansion, and the deluxe box all fit in here once you get all of those. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up and show you what's inside. So this is the top. Top comes off like this, so it's not like a full half box. But you can see it's got a dual wall here in the box, so that, like that. And this lid, this is the size of the expansion boxes. They're this tall, and the deluxe box is this tall. So you can actually pick which lid you want. They all fit onto the storage box at the end. So you can choose whatever lid you think is the coolest design and put it on there. Okay? So set that off to the side for the moment. This box is going to look pretty empty. That's because they didn't send us the vacuum form trays. So all of the storage and display trays are not in this box. Those were templated tested elsewhere, so they didn't come in this test. This is just the paper components that we're going to be looking at today, and the mana crystals, which were sent along, and the conductor pawns, which were sent along. So I've got those. So in here, first thing that you find is the thank you letter from us. So this is actually meant to be folded up, and that's one of the things that I have to mention to the factory. But if you fold it correctly, it looks like this. So it looks like this. You'll see this in the box, and then you open it up, and it's got a thank you letter from Level 99 Games. So that's one thing that we have to make note of, and little things like that make a difference in presentation. You'll see some other games from us, standard stuff. All right, so the first cool thing is the rulebook. All right, so this is the rulebook, and if you missed the start of this, you can actually go back and you'll just be seeing me from the past. But you can actually scroll back in the live stream, I think. Anyway, so here's the rulebook. On the back, quick icon reference, very handy with index. Laura did a super great job on this. The rulebook looks excellent. Pages look good. It's a nice smooth material, and the cover is a nice linen finish, kind of like the cover to Argent. It feels like a heavier cover than the interior of the book, which is a really nice feel for a board game. So it feels very premium when you pull this out. All right, so inside, this is one of the player boards. All right, so they look kind of like this. That's the size of your player interface area. On the back, printed like this. These are the ones in the base game. The expansion game comes with the deluxe edition comes with these on a hard board, so like a traditional game board. But this works just fine. It lays very flat on the table. I'll show you here. This one, so this one is digital proof. so it doesn't have the full gloss finish that the final game has. What they did send us, though, in addition to these, so each company has their own player board, which is unique to them. I'll show those off in a second. But what they did send us is they sent us this board, which is with the full gloss on it that the final boards will have. So this gloss is a little bit more, I guess I would say, like, it's got a bit heavier weight to it than the one that's behind me on the table here. So that will so we can use this to see what it's going to look like. We use this to see what it's going to feel like in the final game. And I can report to you that it looks and feels great. You do have to fold these a little bit to get them to lie flat when they first come out of the box, but because they have this nice laminate on them, that will not damage them at all. And then they fold up cleanly and go back in the box when you're done. So, and I'll go ahead and show you all 6 of these. So, this is the first one, Gesselheim Imperial. This is the Wasteland-focused company. Next, we have Kerrigan Transcontinental. This is the Lava company. And then the Caterpillar Conveyance Consortium. This is the Green company. Afterworld Express is the Ice company. So, see that there. And Golden Sands is the Desert company. So, and you can see each one of these actually have their own unique train cars in their trains. They have their own special look, not just the interface, but also the railway. Super, super cool. King's Line. This is the Lake company. Neat. So we see all those, and once we dig down through all the punch boards, I will show you how the pieces fit onto the punch boards. That's another test that we have to do here, and one that I didn't do in advance. I wanted to do it live with you guys here on the stream. So let's dig down a little bit and look at these punch boards. And the rest of the box is all punch boards. So there's not much else in here but punch boards. So 16 punch boards. So let's pull these out, and I'll go ahead and move this box off to the side a little bit. So punch boards are nice quality. They hold together pretty well. These are, I believe this is the exact final material that we'll see. So pop these out. They pop out really nicely. These are what the cards in the game look like. So I do have the trains. So when, and this to answer Adrian's question here, so the trains are, let's see, S1. So we previewed the trains a long time ago. And so we got samples of these, and I also sent other samples to Laura, so we could see what all the trains look like. So we previewed these before, and so the big box that they sent us did not come with the trains in it because we've already seen all these, and we don't need to proof them again. So, but we can try them out. We can try out the preview trains that we have. I'll just put some of them over here. We can try these out on the board, and we can check that they all fit correctly, which is one of the other tests that we should be doing with this proof. So here, those are all the trains, and then here are the unique resources. Let's see here. All right. And there we go. Okay, so that's all there. So I'm going to punch out a few of these. And some train cars. And Laura had some extra space on the punch board, so she threw in a little first player marker for us. That's cute. And then final things. So if you don't have the expansion or the deluxe edition, you actually take all these old punch boards and you throw them in the bottom, and it creates a riser for the game. So that's how you don't have all this space in the top, even if you don't own the expansion. So that is that. Let's go through. So you can see, these are the tiles. They feel nice in your hand. They're pretty thick. Nice high quality material here. So I'm quite happy with it. I will not tear the tiles on screen. Some gamers might scream. if I did that, but I will do a cut test on some of this punch board, some of the leftover punch board, so you can see how that looks. So pretty thick, pretty tough to cut. And you can bend this. You can see, like, typical, but a little bit of force will bend it. So it's not plastic. But inside seems good. So here, for those who want to see what the inside of the punch boards look like. This is all fine, no problems here. Everything seems to be good. So let's punch out a little bit more. And yeah, it was really hard to resist just punching all of this out yesterday when the thing first came in. But I wanted to make sure that I had an opportunity to do it together with you guys here on the stream. And once I'm done with this copy, I probably will send all of these materials off to Dan, who did the who did the trays, to test against his trays, make sure that everything fits in correctly. Asking about the play testers in the rulebook. So these are the online playtesters. They're all right here in the front of the rulebook on page 2. So if you helped us to playtest, then you'll see your name in this column. Yeah. All right, so there's more pages of trains and trains and trains. So lots of trains. I hope you like trains. Here we've got some other pieces. So this board is the captains. This side is going to be foil, so we have the foil logos right here and here, but they didn't do the foil stamp for this preview. They're going to send me the foil stamped copies with as above, so below. So those will be coming in the next few weeks, and we'll be able to see the foil embossed on the back of these, which is going to look super cool. So I'll punch these guys out. So the base game comes with 8 captains. And then these are the special award tiles. So these are the bonus conditions, which show up at the end of the game. All right. And it looks like the cut is not as good on the back of the board. You can see there's a little bit of a misalignment where the top is not exactly centered, but it's centered on the relevant side and not on the back. I don't think this is too big of a deal to cause another delay. And these kind of shifts happen in production anyway. You can't do too much about it. So, I think I'm just going to let that go because it's such a minor thing. Anyway, these are the victory tiles, the delivery tiles that I'm punching out now. So when you set up a city, so I've got my city miniature here, and we're going to try these out now. Based on the number of players in the game, you put in these little placards to show how many points the city is worth. And so you can hold like this, and you can set this on your board. And you can see which cities still have victory points available for delivery, right? So that's that. And this is holding up pretty well. I could probably snap it if I smash these down with a huge amount of force, but without actively trying to break it, I can't break the plastic piece. So that all checks out. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't think that's going to break. This is going to stand up for a lot of games. So that's nice. And you can see how that kind of looks. So these are the captain tiles. I'm going to go ahead and punch out the rest of the captain tiles. And then we will have, between these captains and the trains and specialists, we'll be able to try out on the board how everything fits and see how it comes together. All right. So, and these all look good on both sides. Great. you know, if these icons for the wood, heartwood good, were in red, they would look like bacon, kind of. That's an odd thought I have as I'm punching them out here. All right, cool. So that and those. Okay, so that's all good. Just throwing these over here as I go along. Cool. So the next thing, so I'm going to put these to the side because those are similar. The next thing we have here is the board itself. All right. So this is one big tile that will pop out here. Cool. And it looks like that. On the reverse, it's got like so C sides and then the A or B side. These are used for setting up various player counts. What we have along the edges of this, these are the goods tokens. So these are used if you don't have the premium resource tokens. So, you know, you'd have this cool plastic bottle, or you have these like nice little icon tokens. Both of those serve the same purpose in game. So I'm going to punch a few of these, and we'll give it a try, give it a table test, and see how it looks. Just going to grab a few of those, set them to the side, and I'm going to get a second board tile and a third board tile, and we can make sure that these guys link up. All right. Okay. Might as well just get them all. Why not? All right. Cool. So I got all the board tiles punched. And then let's see. There's more specialists down here. Oh, there's the last A tile. Okay. Cool. So you might be curious what the A's and the B's are on these, and the C. So the way this works is if you grab all 3 A's, you get a setup which has all 6 colors of cities on it. So you can use this to make sure that to quickly set up the game, rather than having to figure out what combination of tiles front and back gives you the correct distribution of cities. All right. So anyway, I'm going to set this up, and I'm just going to interlock these in no particular configuration. I think this is a 3-player configuration, but you guys can see this okay on my table. All right. And I'm going to take some of these blue goods tiles and I'll drop them out onto the lakes on the board. So these are spaces which still have a delivery available from those spaces. And then your city would go, let's see, where's the red? Oh, the red city's up there. I'll put it here. So this is how a city would look. So you'd see this city demands red goods, and you would have one of those in each of those 6 spots on the table. All right. So that's the board setup. Pretty straightforward and pretty quick. So I'm quite happy with that. We can also test, where did my wastelands? So some negative effects will put wastelands on the board. And I can just show that there. That seems to fit very cleanly into the tile, and it looks good. So no problems there. Let's go ahead and ruin parts of the board like that. So it looks very clean, fits into the board nicely. So super cool. And these tiles, again, seem good quality. They're a little bit flexible, so they will lie more flat. You don't want tiles that are going to be rigid and curve up at the edges. That's no good. These feel nice in my hands. They look good on the table. They lie flat on the table, which is a very big plus for this kind of game where you're going to have a lot of things on the table. I'm going to go ahead and move these goods onto the table as well, so you can kind of see what the goods look like in their various spaces. Is that visible enough? You can see these okay? Yeah. So the green one blends in a little bit with its terrain type. I don't think that's going to be a problem because it is in 3D here on the table in front of me. So not a big issue there. The yellow one, I think we changed the color of this one a little bit so it's more yellow, so that won't be quite such a big deal. And obviously this guy stands out quite a bit. So anyway, and then I'll put some trains on here, and you can see what trains look like. So up to 3 trains can exist in a single space, and that seems to check out just fine. They fit great. You can see the different kinds of trains despite the different kinds of terrains. So the terrains don't hide the trains too much. It's very easy to tell where your trains are going on this board. If I line them up and they all have a similar color, they make a nice, a nice linear path going along the board. So that all looks good. Finally, my last test for this prototype is I'm going to use one of these player boards, and I'm going to test the sizing of all these different components that we've seen. So let's just go ahead and do it this way. So you can see this is sort of the view you would have as a player playing this game. And actually, I'll move this out of the way. So that, and if you guys have any questions about the production or any part of this, like, now's the time to ask. Just let me know what you're curious about, and I'll answer any questions about how this game is coming together. So we got that. Captain. Well, actually, we should grab the real. Yes, I'm Imperial Captain. It's up here. All right. So this is where my captain will go. Once I purchase a train, I can slot it onto here. So I can start building up my. Let me move that a little bit so you can see. I can start building up my railway with different features. My electricity board that had some drift on the back. Are we talking about the tiles? These large tiles with a little bit of production drift. So sometimes the edges come out a little bit closer on one edge than another, and you might see a millimeter or 2 of float here. All of these tiles have a full 5 millimeter bleed, so the tile will. Oh wait, which? Oh no, the smaller ones. Which smaller ones are we talking about? Like these guys. So with any punch board or any card you're doing double-sided, there is a safety zone which is about 5 millimeters. That is kind of an acceptable tolerance for things to float. Generally, anything that did float 5 meters would look bad and we would reject it. But realistically, the factory is going to have 1 to 3 millimeters on any kind of board that they make, and that's just the reality of the physical production. Things are not always perfectly aligned, and there's no way to get them perfectly aligned. So we do have to be so we do have to be flexible in that. And so if you look at these boards, and all of these boards, you'll see that they have a very large bleed zone around the edge of each punch. So even if this punch floated like a millimeter down or up or any of the directions, it would look virtually indistinguishable from the ones that are exactly centered. That's all been taken into account on these. And even if there is a slight float, you won't feel it in your copy. If you do get a float that's significant enough that it cuts into the bleeds, of course we would replace that. That's just part of the policy. So no problem there. You don't have to worry about that. Anyway, what was it? Oh, what is my favorite spell in Imperial? I kind of really just like to play by adaptation. So I'm not really the one that goes out and looks for specific kinds of spells. I look at what's in the market and I try to adapt to that. I know some people have favorites. I tend to have favorite specialists, right? Like the characters that you get. The one that I've really enjoyed playing in playtesting is actually Rayleigh, who lets you run ahead faster on your track. This is an incredibly powerful ability, and it's a lot of fun to play, and it really controls the pacing of the game. So this is one I'd recommend for checking out. So we have that there. We can fill these up with trains. They all look good. When you acquire a demand tile, you slot it into this track up here, which determines the victory points. And I'll show you one more of these so you can see what that looks like up close. So up here, you slot in victory points, and this is the end game timer for the number of players. So in a 2-player game, you get 6 tiles. 4-player, you get 5 tiles. 5 players, you get 4 tiles. That will trigger the end game. So, all right, and we'll just slot a couple of these in. All right, and those all fit perfectly into their slots on the board. And I'll just drop out a few specialists. Right. And we can see that those fit nicely. When you activate a specialist, it flips over to its reverse. Activate your captain, they flip over. And again, this will have the symbol in gold foil once that's finished. And yeah, this all feels really natural. It moves nicely. Let's try a few other tests, things that may not be so obvious. So our conductor piece starts here and seems to fit into the circles on the board perfectly. So that's a nice fit there. And then the what else have I got? These mana crystals. And where'd my scissors go? So these are big crystals. I believe they're actually the exact same size as an Argent. And then they go generally up here. So how much mana you have available. This is a little tight, and I think I'm going to ask the factory to give us smaller crystals, just so that we're not so crowded up here, and it's a little clearer what we've got, because these fill up the top bar of the board pretty quickly and start to crowd. So we'll probably try and get these a little bit smaller if they can stock them smaller. We'll see where that goes. Any updates on the solo game? So the solo game is finished up, and I believe you can play it in the Tabletop Simulator mod for Imperial, so you can give that a try. Yeah. The let's see. Edil asks for the interchangeable covers. They all have the same background color. They have different colors, but they all terminate in this white edge. So even if the design is different, it'll be white along the edge. So it will sync up nicely with the base of the box. So they're all designed with this, with this effect in mind, that they will stack together with the base box on all sides. And I'll just pop this on again so you can see what I'm talking about. So you see the interface here between the top and the bottom is a nice solid color, and so all of the other boxes will respect that convention of making the things a different color, or making it the same color, so they all interchange. Andrew says, yeah, standard large crystals. We could go for smaller ones. I think they might have a medium size. If they have a size between, then that would be the ideal size. Yeah. Any other questions about any of the production or any issues? Does anybody want to ask about things? So I should give an update on the situation with production. So we've got this one. Once I give the order, it will go into production, and then we'll get started on it. Generally takes about 45 days, and then that production will be finished up in probably early July. That said, we also have As Above, So Below, and we have the deluxe edition to do. So those are going to take a little bit longer to finish up. I'm really looking more at end of August at this point, based on the situation that we have in production now. We do finally have all the art and all the designs together, but we still have a bit of graphic design to do to get everything done, and we still have to proof these. Now that said, these proofing steps are really important, and I'm not going to skip them. I've done that in the past, and it's not a good idea. So it is a necessary evil that we go through all these steps. But what you should take away from this is that this is going to be an incredible game. We're doing we're pulling out all the stops on this game, and there are no corners that will be cut to bring the best possible Imperial spells and Steam to your table. So I'm sorry about the extra weight that we're encountering, but it's all for creating the ultimate game that we can. And this is going to be a game that's really special. So I can't wait to send out copies, but it is going to be a little bit longer. Anyway, we will round the corners. Don't worry. These are kid safe. Don't have any fear. So yeah. So thank you guys so much. If there are no further questions, then I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, and we will call it a day. Um, yeah, I will be going through and assembling the game and setting it all up. I'm going to take a few pictures over the weekend and post those in a Kickstarter update. So we'll all see everything that goes through. And I'll kind of summarize all the other stuff that I said here in that upcoming update as well. So look out for that pretty soon. And yeah. All right. Well, thank you all so much. I hope you have a great weekend. And thanks again for supporting Empyreal. I am really excited to bring you this game soon. Take care and happy gaming.